So thank you, Chairman, and good afternoon, everyone. So this presentation is about the influence of the track irregularities on the rolling contact fatigue. This work has been carried out in RATP, which is the public transport company of the city of Paris. I'm trying to switch. Okay. So this presentation is about concern the RER line A, this subway line crossing the city of Paris from west to east. In the last recent years, we have decreased the number of rail breaking in the welding and in the rail, but we still have some breaks on the rail. And so in the last year, we carried this research project to understand the influence of the track irregularity on the fatigue behavior of the rail. Basically, we have a calculation flow. So this is deterministic. And so we have our input parameter, which are the vehicle and the track parameter. Then we perform dynamic simulation on the track, so to estimate the wheel-rail contact forces and stresses on the surface on the rail. And then we extract the stresses and we use them for finite element calculation in the rail for calculating the stresses inside the material, and then apply a fatigue criterion to estimate the RCF behavior. Our work consists in introduce some of the input quantities as stochastic. So basically modeling the track geometry and the rail wear as stochastic fields. So the idea is to introduce these random quantities and to get a probabilistic model of the fatigue life of the rail, and to perform a sensitivity analysis for identifying the most influent and important parameter. So in this presentation, I'm going to talk about a little bit about the stochastic model, then about the first step, the sensitivity analysis on the contact forces, and then the fatigue prediction. So just a few words about the geometry. So we have a track recording car, so a large amount of measurement of the geometry, and the gauge, spiral elevation, and the curvatures, and we use these measurements for constructing a probabilistic model of them. We decompose the geometry into three parts. Theoretical geometry from the design, another term correlated with the curve radius, for example, to take into account the increase of the gauge in the curves, and then the regularity part, which is the random field that we have to model. In the literature, we can find a lot of technique for modeling the track geometry. Usually, the model is based on the power spectral density estimation. In this case, we use another approach based on the Karnow-Love expansion. This technique has been used in RATP and SNCF also. So we decompose our random field into using by decomposing the covariance function, and we use a truncated sum of deterministic function depending on the space and the random coefficient that are identified by polynomial chaos. The main difference between the standard approach is that we can represent non-Gaussian random field without introducing a lot of distortions on the correlation structures. The rail wear, for the rail wear, we use a similar technique for this model. So we collect a lot of rail profile measurement along the track. And then we use again the Karnow-Love expansion for decomposing the random field. So we have some deterministic wear mode here the first three wear mode corresponding to three worn rail profile. And then using the combination of these modes, we can represent the probabilistic evolution of the wear. The wear is, of course, related to the features of the track. Of course, in the curve, in a straight track is very different. So for that, we introduce a correlation term of the random coefficient of the wear between the random coefficient of the wear and the characteristics of the tracks. So the curve radius, the tonnage, and train velocity. What we have, this is an example of a random generator of field of the wear, is a random field related to the features of the track and the statistical dispersion. So for example, when you have a curve, we have a different probability of the wear field, and also for the tonnage, we have a non-stationary variation of the wear. So this is about the model of the input. So then we can inject, we can use these input quantities for dynamical calculation. So at first we have validated our random model using experimental measurement of the forces. These are the spectral density of the forces. So with numerical method we are close to the experimental measurement. We still have some frequency, some excitation that we cannot represent with this model. These frequencies are mostly related to defect of the wheel that are not included at the moment. So then let's move to the sensitivity analysis. So we use Sobol indices. These indices represent the influence of an input quantity on an interest quantities. So here's some example of the indices on the vertical forces. So if we separate the random variability of the geometry and the wear, we found that for the vertical forces, all the dispersion is mostly due to the track geometry, especially in a straight track. And we can see that it's the super elevation defect that drive the random dispersion of the vertical forces. So here, this is for behind these indices, there are the random distribution, and so the indices give us the information of which are the input quantities that drive the distribution of the quantity of the interest. So a similar study on the lateral forces, and we found that the rail wear is the most important quantities, most important random field in all the curved track cases, while in a straight track there is a strong interaction between geometry and wear. But we can also see that, of course, in a straight track, the average value of the lateral forces is around 0. And also the variability is much more, it's much more smaller than the curved track. When we perform the simulation without considering the wear, we found that in a large radius curve, the alignment is the most important geometry defect, while in a straight curve, the most important defect is the gauge. So after the dynamical calculation, we extract the surface stresses and we introduce them in a finite element calculation for the rail fatigue. The main, most important hypothesis here is that we have stationary fields on the rail surfaces. And we consider a rail infinitely long, and we don't introduce any inertial effect. Then we perform the finite element calculation for getting directly the steady state. So after a number of cycles, we extract the stress cycle without plastic deformation. So we are in the case of the elastic adaptation. And then the fatigue criterion we use is the Dangevin at this stage. So here just an overview of the fatigue criterion. The main problem of this step is the calculation time, because if the dynamical calculation is very fast, the finite element can take a lot of time, so it's almost impossible to directly explore the random space. So for this outcome, we introduce a meta model between the output of the dynamical calculation and the fatigue criterion. So we have this meta model between the rail wheel relative position and velocity, which determines the contact stresses, and directly the fatigue criterion. The main hypothesis at this stage is that the random distribution of the rail wheel relative position and velocity are stationary, which means that we are in a steady curve at constant velocity of the train. So this quantity can vary, but not their random distribution. Then we construct this meta model using polynomial chaos. Basically, we perform a number of deterministic simulation for calibrating the polynomial chaos expansion. And when we have the meta model, we can then explore the random space to perform the sensitivity analysis on the fatigue. Here are some examples. So this is without wear, only the variation of the track geometry. And we can see that there are not a lot of variation of the fatigue index, and all its values are larger than 1. So in every case, we are in the fatigue, on the fatigue side. When we introduced the wear in the simulation, we found that the distribution is much more spread. The rail wheel contact position can vary a lot by introducing a variable shape of the rail profile. And also the distribution of the stresses on the rail surface are a little bit spread. So in this case, we have about 60% of the distribution on the smaller than 1. A similar behavior we can have with some difference on a straight curve, with the distribution a little bit tight. And in alignment, we have in a straight track, we have a strong interaction between track geometry and wear, with always this tendency of the wear of the decreasing the fatigue limit. So at the conclusion, this is so the summary. With this approach, we can estimate, we can have a probabilistic view of on a fatigue criterion on our railway network, and identify which are the parameters for driving the track maintenance. For the future, we have to improve this model by introducing other quantities, and of course to improve the meta model for reducing the calculation time. So, thank you for your attention.